Alrighty, to start off my assignment, I'm going to firstly discuss the Gartner hype cycle very briefly. Obviously, the hype cycle has 5 different phases. Firstly, there is a technology trigger, which is when the technology is pretty much introduced into the market. Secondly, this is followed by the inflated expectation peak. This is where the hype around the product's built up to a point which gives a little bit of obviously inflated expectation to the consumer. Gives them possibly an unrealistic expectation in some senses. Not all, but it's certainly a possibility. Thirdly, there's a trough of disillusionment. Now this comes after that unrealistic expectation. So this is when, after the peak up here, it comes down into the trough, which is probably the lowest point throughout the product's selling life, in a sense. Thirdly, there's a slope of enlightenment, and this is the recognition of the fantastic qualities of the product. Sorry, that was fourthly, not thirdly. And finally, there's a plateau of productivity. This is where the fantastic features of the product are recognised by consumers, and it evens it out, and it's that point at which productivity can't be reached anymore. Alrighty, the product and technology which I've chosen to discuss in this presentation is iPhones and their effect. Now, firstly, the iPhone was released in 2007. The first iPhone was released in 2007 by Steve Jobs. And the iPhone is a line of smartphones released by Apple. Steve Jobs at the time, the CEO and founder. The iPhone has many functions. The video camera, which was not actually a feature of the iPhone until the 3GS was released. Secondly, it is a phone. This means you can use it for texting, calling, video calling, and MMSing. Thirdly, it is a stereo and music player, so it's probably the best of its kind in the market currently. You're able to play songs, store up to, say you've got a 32 gigabyte iPhone, well then you've got the ability to store over 5,000 songs. It's a still camera as well as a video camera. Still camera is a standard feature in all of the iPhones. It has internet and email connectivity, so this means that you can connect your home emails to your iPhone and receive emails wherever you go. And is also subject to Wi-Fi and 3G. The iPhone, rather than using a physical keyboard to type messages, it has a virtual one. This makes the phone a little bit more compact, but allows the screen to be a lot bigger too. The Apple iPhone store itself has over 500,000 applications, which allows an individual to personalise their iPhone with certain things that they want on there. For instance, the application store has mainly games, but also GPS, fitness guides, healthy eating guides, pretty much anything you're after. The Apple iTunes store, will actually have that, and this enables Apple to be able to keep up with the market and keep up with its competitors and sort of keep that one step ahead by having all these things that are available to be accessed. Over the years, there have been 5 generations of iPhone. So since the first one was released in 2007, now being 2012, there's pretty much been one introduced each year, sort of, and this again helps Apple stay ahead of their competitors and keep that edge on them, and allows them to remain in that productivity plateau component. That's more so not much of a plateau as well. It's sort of an increasing trend, but it is a steady increase. It's not an inconsistent one. And then with the introduction of a new iPhone every 12 months virtually, and then it goes through the hype cycle all over again. Most recently, the iPhone introduced to the market was the iPhone 4S. Now, this is probably first of its kind in that it has a built-in, how do you say it? It's got a built-in system called Siri, which you're able to ask questions, any question under the sun virtually, and you'll get an answer for. Now, Siri, often there are a few problems with this voice recognition and all that sort of thing, and that's the case with all technologies, but it is very advanced and something that doesn't feature on any other smartphone at this stage. Certainly something that's unique to Apple and their iPhone. Now, the iPhone 4S has other features such as an 8 megapixel camera and a 1080 megapixel HD video camera. So this again, it's branching out into not just being a phone, becoming more of a camera as well, providing the ability to capture those unique moments in one's life via the phone and not having to carry around a phone and a camera. Most recently, there is also AirPrint, which enables you to pretty much just connect via Bluetooth and print off anything that's on your iPhone, and it has faster download speeds than previous iPhones. Now, this is pretty important for those who work in media businesses, for instance, that they have to have things, certain sources of information pretty much instantaneously. So the fast download speed is beneficial for all users. I would say that the iPhone 4 is currently in the plateau of productivity stage on the Gartner hype cycle due to its dominance in the smartphone industry. While the expectations of the iPhones are extremely high, many of those hyped expectations, those hyped features have actually been delivered on. Now, obviously, there's always rumour and innuendo. Before the introduction of a product to the market, especially with the iPhone, there's so many things that surround it. It's such a diverse product and such a highly sought after product and highly publicised product that there are always people creating rumours. And this does add to the overhyped nature of the product, which is probably the second phase of the inflated expectation phase of the Gartner hype cycle. But at the moment, the current iPhone 4S will be sitting in it's definitely sitting in the plateau productivity stage where it's meeting the expectations of everyone now that people know what to expect. They know exactly what's on the phone and they're getting what's on the phone. So it is starting to balance out where sales and productivity has certainly met sales targets and whatnot. Not too much more to go, sorry. The Apple actually is Apple is regularly updating its software to enable to remain in the productivity plateau by staying ahead of its competitors. So this means that there will never be a phase in Apple's existence or the iPhone's existence where it's overtaken by another product. They're always updated to maintain an edge or to sort of keep up with competition, but specifically trying to keep that 1 or 2 steps ahead. And yeah, as I've stated previously, that Apple uniquely bring out a new phone or an updated version of the iPhone roughly every 12 months to sort of keep that edge on the competition. In saying that, the iPhone 4S is only expected to be the latest product on the market for roughly 4 or 5 months, depending on which month that it's actually the iPhone 5 is actually released in Australia. However, yeah, it'll obviously be released in America first, but the iPhone 4S's lifespan is slowly coming to an end. Sort of a short, sharp little existence, 12-month period, as I've previously stated. This would actually, the release of the iPhone 5 would place the iPhone 5 in the technology trigger phase. It's that phase where it's released into the market, and once it has been released, yeah, it'll be subject to that inflated expectation of what you actually get. You always expect more than what you get, and that's certainly the case with all iPhones so far, except their massive ability to sort of deliver on most, if not all, of the promises. Competitors to the iPhone market have exploded since the introduction in 2007. We've seen HTC come up with their Galaxy, no, not the Galaxy, sorry, the HTC come up with the One X most recently, but also many other types of touch smartphones in the past 5 years. Samsung and Panasonic and Nokia have all introduced their own range of smartphone to a degree, most namely the Samsung Galaxy, certainly one that's fairly popular and definitely competed and stretched the iPhone in its initial years, particularly around the stage of the iPhone 4, around that 2009-2010 period when it was first released. iPhones have created, the iPhones and smartphones alike actually, have created this fantastic opportunity for another market, and that is the tablet market, which is, it's a similar version to a laptop, but it's got more comparison and more similarities to your smartphone. Obviously, tablets in the Apple industry are known as iPads, and these are extremely similar to the iPhone 4 or the iPhone, and they have a number of different features that are very similar to the iPhone. However, they don't actually have that texting and calling feature. They don't act as a phone. They are a tablet, a computer type technology. And there are certain applications which are only applicable to these tablets, and not so much to iPhones alike. So that pretty much concludes my discussion on iPhones and the Gartner hype cycle, and I just want to reinforce the iPhone's current position as being in the phase of the productivity plateau. The iPhone 4S in particular, being in that position. So that pretty much concludes what I've had to say today, and I'd like to thank you for definitely viewing my video, and hopefully, you get to experience the wonderful nature of the iPhone 4 at some stage, possibly the iPhone 5 when it comes